wanted to tell you about a lesson that I had to learn the hard way as a creative person. If I tell you about it, maybe you can learn it by skipping some steps. When I was a kid, reading stories in books or watching TV shows or playing video games, I always saw things that I would improve, that I would change, that I thought they weren't doing very well. I thought, if I were in charge of this, if I were making it, I would change this and this and this. And I was very convinced, I was sure that if I were the one in charge, I'd make it better and it would be much more popular. So then I got older and then I had opportunities to make things. I made lots of different things, all sorts of things. And I would use that energy, that creativity, and I would make the thing just like I wanted it to be. I'd spend months on it or years on it in some cases. And then I would show people and the response would be lackluster. It wouldn't be, wow, this is amazing. This is so much better than anything that's come before. Instead, it was like, oh yeah, but I don't really like this and this part of it. And I'd say, well, what do you mean? That part of it isn't important. What about these other parts that are amazing? And they don't even mention it. So what does this teach you? Well, it opened my eyes to the reality that just because you like something, it doesn't mean everyone else will like it. Just because you see some flaws, that doesn't mean those are the flaws that other people will see. People like things for all sorts of different reasons. One person might like the characters in a story, another person might like some artwork, another person might like the symbolic meanings and metaphors, and people like different things. Some people want it to be deeper, some want it to be shallow and exciting. There's just all sorts of different tastes, and I didn't understand that when I was a kid. I had to learn it by experience. So I made these things that I thought were great. Other people didn't seem to like them so much, and so then I thought more about, okay, well then how do I make something that people do like? And I realized that you have to start with looking at the market, at people, understanding people. What's the popular opinion and what do people like? And often that will be much different than what you like. And that was a bigger revelation, is that I am a very strange person. I'm very, very unusual. The tastes that I have, the things that I like, are way different than the vast majority of other people. And indeed, that was exactly the reason why all these things that I would consume when I was growing up, I didn't quite like, but other people did like them, and that's why they were made, because they're popular, because they're things that a lot of people like. Just not me, because I'm strange, and I didn't know. I was strange when I was a little kid. You can't really figure that stuff out. So now that I'm older and wiser, I'm an adult, I've been around a long time, now I realize I'm very strange. And it's really demotivating, because if I think about making something in my perfect way that's just the way that I like it, I know that at the end of all that effort, I'll show it to other people and a lot of them will just shrug their shoulders and say, oh, that's nothing special. And then you might cling to this idea. Maybe there's a few people, maybe there's a handful of people that think like I do, that would enjoy it just like I will. But I mean, it's so rare, it's kind of futile to hope for that and make it for that reason. So if you want to make something that you would love, the only real motivation you have to make it is for yourself, for your own enjoyment and satisfaction. And at the end of it, there will be no fanfare, there will be no success, there will be no sales, there will be not a bunch of people like telling you how great you are or what a great thing you made. There's none of that. You just make your thing and then it's there and you have the satisfaction of making it. And unfortunately, when you lose that delusion, this delusion that you'll get some acceptance and praise and love for the things that you make, it saps motivation, at least that naive and foolish motivation that you had when you were young, that optimistic way of looking at it, where this is fueling you and this is the reason you really wanted to make it in the first place. You have to let all that go, and then you end up just making things just because you like it, and it's a very long and slow process, and there's not really much reward at the end. And it's sad, because a lot of the geniuses in history, a lot of the people who made wonderful creative works, they weren't even appreciated until after they had died, and other people sort of uncovered it and found the mystery and the talent in it and celebrated it. Long after they were there, they weren't there to enjoy people talking about them or anything. They just created what they wanted to. So if you want to create, you got to do it that way, and don't expect recognition, and don't expect anyone to understand or appreciate what you're doing. It's really sad. It's something you just have to learn and accept as a creative person. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't create. If it's in your heart, create. Create for the fun of it, for the love of it. If someone eventually discovers it after you're gone, well, that's cool too.